COVID immunity at 12%.
Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. You know, while I am happy to be fully vaccinated, I'm still not happy being stuck in this madhouse all alone, since, because of my autism, I sometimes feel abused and humiliated due to my parents' inconsiderable and despicable behaviors. And for many months, I've been hoping that soon I can move out to Saddleback Ranch Apartments and live independently. Sadly, due to their waiting list, that's gonna take a long time before that ever happens. Anyway, for today's episode, I would like to look at an animated family movie from Netflix and share my thoughts about it. So, let's get started. Released in Netflix on April 22nd, 2020, the movie is The Willoughbys. Now, on for the plot of the movie. The film is centered on a family where the main children are being disrespected and neglected by their parents. After a long time of neglect, the Willoughby children decide to send their parents away on a dangerous trip that would hopefully leave them orphaned. Luckily for the young Willoughbys, they have a sweet-natured nanny named Linda and a kindly but intimidating candy maker named Commander Melanoff on their side. But when the kids are being targeted by the sinister orphan services, they embark on their own high-flying adventure to find the true meaning of family. So, what do I personally think of the movie? Well, to me, this has got to be one of the most relatable animated movies that I've ever seen last year, and like Over the Moon, I loved it. But to further explain why I enjoyed this film, let's move on to Mustang Notes. The movie is based on the book of the same name by Lois Lowry, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to read it or find it at my local bookstores yet. But still, to me, this does feel like a book that's definitely worth reading. The film was directed by Chris Pern, who was one of the directors of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Screw the haters. Anyway, Chris not only directed The Willoughbys, but he also wrote the film's screenplay with Mark Stanley. The characters in the movie were designed by character designer Craig Kellman, who designed the characters for DreamWorks Madagascar, Sony Animation's Hotel Transylvania, and MGM's The Addams Family. As for the animation, in my opinion, the CGI animation is pretty good. In fact, it kind of feels like I'm watching a stop-motion film. As for the story, well, in my opinion, not only is it very relatable, but it feels reminiscent to a couple Roald Dahl stories like Matilda and James and the Giant Peach, as well as several other things like Home Alone, Oliver Twist, along with Annie, and a series of unfortunate events. And that's basically all I got for Mustang Notes, so let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought him to life. Tim Willoughby, the eldest of the Willoughby siblings, is voiced by Will Forte, who voiced Shaggy Rogers in last year's Scoob and Chester V in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Now, being the eldest, Tim can be rather bossy towards his siblings, and he's obsessed with growing a mustache and returning the Willoughby family to its former glory. Plus, Tim tries to be the new patriarch for the family after getting rid of his parents through a brochure that he and his siblings made. Also, Tim has done some stupid things like mistrusting Linda as well as calling the orphan services. But despite this, Tim is shown to have a carefree and playful side. Next we have Jane Willoughby, voiced by Canadian singer and songwriter Alicia Cara. To me, Jane sticks out the most compared to her brothers, due to her being fun-loving, and she has a very deep passion for singing. And I think Alicia Cara has such an amazing singing voice. Also, while Jane has a hard time taking responsibility for certain things, I absolutely love her sense of optimism and her what if theories. Plus, I thought Jane was very hospitable when she took in an orphan baby whom she names Ruth. Next are the Barnaby twins, who are both voiced by stand-up comedian Sean Cullen. While these guys are a tad eccentric, I think they share a very unique talent for tinkering and inventing things like booby traps and awesome vehicles. Next we come to the children's abusive parents, Walter and Helga, voiced by Martin Short and Jane Krakowski. Now, despite that the past Willoughbys were proud and creative people, these two are some of the worst parents ever, next to other abusive couples like Spiker and Sponge or Vernon and Petunia. What they do is neglect and emotionally abuse their kids by preventing them from having fun, sing, or having dinner with them, as well as locking them up in the coal bins, while they do all sorts of weird things like dancing or knitting. Our next character is Linda, aka the Nanny, voiced by Maya Rudolph, who got to be in the Nutjob movies, Disney's Big Hero 6, George Lucas's Strange Magic, Sony's The Emoji Movie, and later this year, she'll be in The Mitchells vs. the Machines on Netflix and Pixar's upcoming summer hit, Luca. Now, Linda is an eccentric babysitter who's been hired to look after the Willoughby kids. To me, Linda would have to be my favorite character in the entire movie due to her being kind, caring, cheerful, fun, and she seems to have the same talent as Mary Poppins. Plus, she's revealed to be an orphan herself. Next up is Commander Melanoff, the joyous but lonely owner of a candy factory, voiced by bodybuilder Terry Crews, who voiced Officer Earl in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. And he'll be in Rumble next year. In my eyes, while Melanoff doesn't really appear too much in the film, and he may seem a bit grumpy in the beginning, I think he's a whimsical character, kind of like Willy Wonka in a way. Plus, I think his factory is absolutely breathtaking, and I like that he took in baby Ruth after the Willoughby siblings left her on his doorstep. Also, I like the scene where Melanoff helped the kids build a dirigible in order for them to fly to Switzerland. Finally, we have the Willoughbys talking blue tabby cat, voiced by Ricky Gervais, whom has been in The Muppets Most Wanted, the 2016 Little Prince movie, and Disney's Valiant. And he'll be in the upcoming Blazing Samurai movie later this year. This character serves as the movie's narrator, and in my opinion, I think this cat has a very rich personality. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, The Willoughbys is a very relatable animated family movie from Netflix. The story is a little weird, but it's still very engaging, emotional, and fun. The CGI animation is pretty unique. The Willoughby children are memorable and relatable, while their parents are very despicable, abusive, and ignorant. The other characters like Linda and Melanoff are also likable due to their backstories and character arcs. Plus, the musical score by Mark Mothersbaugh is absolutely excellent. So, if you haven't seen this movie yet, be sure to gather your family together and tune into Netflix. I give this movie a 90% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me next time, where I look at a biography movie about one of my childhood favorite authors, Mustang Power.